Okay, I was just going to do a quick lesson today that just focuses on a bit of soloing and one of my favourite instrumentals ever. It's by Eric Clapton and it's a cover of Freddie King's Hideaway. It's essentially 5 different sections. It's got a solo, rhythm, solo, rhythm, solo. And is based upon 12-bar blues in E. So, I'll just give a demonstration of the first part, and then, after we've had a demonstration of the first part, I'll go through it. Okay, here goes. Let's switch that down. There we go. That's essentially the first part. So that had the solo and then the little bit of rhythm, which is showing off the 12-bar blues and allowing some of the other instruments to have a go, like the organ. Right. So the main thing where it starts off with is it starts off all in the E major scale. So we'll start off with the E major pentatonic. So if you know your E minor pentatonic, you can also go from the open up to the octave at the 12th fret. And once you've got those two, you kind of can work it out. And the main easiest way I normally find is taking it down by 3 frets. So from the 12th fret, you go to the 9th fret, and that's the E major pentatonic. And the way it starts, that is focusing around these 4 notes. It's on the D and the G string. He's just using the 9 and the 9 and 11. And that's his favourite parts. So, he starts off with this lick where he's using a double stop to begin with. So he's double stop and then hammer on and then bend up. And when you're bending up, try to make sure you go up as far as it needs. This one's a full tone, which means 2 frets. So or a whole step. So when you're playing, play that, then play the 13, bend up the 11, make sure you're getting the same note. So there. So that's the first bit. And then the second one, virtually identical, starts off the same. And then he's playing again, plucking again, bending down, pulling off, and then going down to the 11. So he's going down to the 11 and then adding the 9 and 11 afterwards. So that's lick 2. Lick 3, he's got this hammer-on section where he's just going around the 9, 11 to the 9. So you're essentially just almost leaving your first finger across the 2 frets on the 9th on the 2 strings. So. And he does that 4 times. So 9, 11, 9, 9, 11, 9, 9, 11, 9, 9, 11, 9. And ends with a double 9. Then he does virtually the same lick again as he did on the first 2 times. So for lick 4. But ends on the 9 rather than the 11. And adds in the chords to get to E. So these are dominant 7th chords, which just means you've added the dominant 7th to a normal major chord. So, if you haven't seen them before, an example is if you go to C, and then you add your little finger on the 3rd fret on the G string, that makes a dominant 7th. And that's essentially the shape we're using up here. You could, if you wanted to, just move that shape up to the 8 and make a full kind of 7th chord. But a lot of the time people just use their 3 fingers. So 2nd finger on the 8th, 1st finger on the 7th, and then 3rd finger on the 8th again. And I'm going down, up on that one. And then we're on to open strings, because he likes to move around a little bit and use a few different positions. So I'll just quickly play through the E major scale. So on the open string. Which is kind of nice. But he's going to be using a lot of the open on the B string, 2nd fret, open, and then the 2nd and 4th on the high E string. So the next bit, da, 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 and then slide up, and then this pull off, and then he's using that hammer-on trick again, but this time 0, 2, and he does that 3 times. And then he's coming down on the opens, playing the 2nd fret on the G string, and then doing a hammer on between the minor, which would be G, to the G sharp, and then the open string. So we got. It's kind of, so there's a little bits on there. Almost missed that bit. So we've got open, and then we're coming down the minor pentatonic to get to a B, which is the 5th. So if you were kind of doing and finishing on the root note, it would sound complete. So he's finishing it on the 5th note of the scale, which makes it sound like he's going to go somewhere afterwards. Okay, so that's the first section, so the first 12 bars. I'll just play it again, and then we'll move on to the next section. It might be worth, once you've done this bit, just pausing and then getting your head round them. One of my major ways of learning solos is learning 4 bars and making sure I've got those, then moving on. And I download a program called Audacity and use that to slow down MP3s. So I'll get the original track and play along with the original track, say at 30% down, so it's a bit slower, get my head round it, then speed it up. But it's, however, if you need to put it down by 50%, start off with 50%. And then you can challenge yourself to see whether you can do it at 40% the next time, and 30, and before you know it, you'll be at full speed. Okay, I'll just play through that first little bit again. I'll play it along with the backing track, and you'll hear it again. Oh, helps if I put on the volume. And that's the first bit. Right, let's go on to the next bit and how he's having a go at that. So the next bit is much more based upon the E minor pentatonic. So if you don't know it, or if you didn't know the E major, I'd look at them in the sheets. Okay, so on this one, he's starting off with a little bend on the 2nd fret. And just kind of going and playing around with the 2 0 2 0 on the G and the D string. So slight bender. So he's just doing a little simple and finishing on the G. Now for quite a classic sort of blues sort of thing, where he's sliding in with his 1st and 2nd finger to the 3rd and the 4th fret, and he's using slow triplets. So a lot of this is kind of listening, and then you kind of get it. So and then he's back to playing around with those 2 and 0. And again, finishing on that G to keep it so it sounds not complete. After he's done all around there, he moves up. This time he is going to hit a bit of a major sort of thing, because when he bends up, he's bending up a full tone, which makes it major. And he starts off with a rake, which is you're going across a few strings, but muting some of the strings. So it just accents that note, makes it sound like if you're hitting it harder. It's very common blues sort of thing to do. So I'll just play that again. And then he goes back to that 3/4 again, but this time actually uses triplets. Not slow triplets, just kind of normal speed. So if you want to do triplets, remember to think of pineapple, like the pineapple, 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 pineapple. So I'll just play it again. Pineapple, 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 pineapple. So just that last bit. So I'm starting off on the root, the 5. And then using that hammer on. And then, so I'll just play that little bit with a track. So I'll play up to there. And that's as far as we got so far. Okay, now for the rhythm section. This bit just follows the 12-bar blues. So the first bit is just starting on E. So you've got essentially the pattern for 12-bar blues is you go E, then A, then E, then B, then back to E. So we've got this little funky little riff there. And that's the same theme throughout the whole 12 bars. And he's using the fourth and fifth, but adding a bit of a funkier rhythm than the traditional blues. The traditional blues you'd have. Which is kind of nice, but doesn't have the same sort of feel. So he's just adding a little funky rhythm, and we play the E, then stopping it, and then sliding up from the 3 to 4, stopping that, and 2, 5, 2, 4, 2, and then sliding in from the 1 to the 2 for a major sort of thing. And then he moves out to A. But with the same slide. So same thing on the same, exactly the same except for the slide at the end. So he does. So far he's done the E twice. Then the A twice. Sorry, the A once, then back to the E once. Then he's on to the B. And this time you'd be going from the 2 to the, and sliding from the 5 to the 6. But same thing on your fingers. And with the slide at the end, and then back to the E. But stopping on that so that he's got time to go, to get back up. Okay, we'll just play up to there. Another backing track. Okay, right. All the resources I've talked about will be with this, and have good fun. Have fun playing it. I still think it's a great song just to get up all your licks and just get used to it. Okay, right, bye for now.